MA087, Chapter 3.5, Solving Equations with Fractions. Alright, we already know this part, the subtraction, addition, and division property of equations. Okay, this means the same number can be subtracted from each side of the equation without changing the solution of the equation. So you have an equation, then you can subtract a number from each side, or you can add a number, to the same number to each side of the equation. Still, the solution is same. And also, you can divide any non-zero number each side. You can divide each side of the equation by a number which is not zero, or you can multiply each side of the equation. Still, the equation is still same. So for example, 3x equals 12. We want to solve this one. So this means now x is together with 3, which means 3x means 3 times x, right? 3 times x. So when we solve this, we will make it what? X equals something. X equals something, right? That's how we're going to make it. So the right side will be the solution of the equation, which is the value of x. That makes the equation true. So if x is multiplied by 3, this is a multiplication, then we can divide each side by the same number here. So we call 3 a coefficient. So divide each side by the coefficient 3. Then we can cancel this out. So x is equal to 4, right? 4. So in this case, we can divide each side. Why? Because 3x is a product, 3 times x. So you can make it 1 times x by dividing each side by the same number. In this case, same factor, 3. So this one is, so we used the number 4 property. The same number number 3. We can use the same number to divide each side of the equation. So we got x equals 3. Okay, then let's try a different example this time. This example has x over 2 on the left hand side of the equation. So x divided by 2. So 2 is the denominator. So in order to make it x equals something, we have to get rid of this denominator too. So if we have a number something like this, 2 over 2, then this is equal to 1, right? So you can get rid of this 2 if you have the same number in the numerator. So in this case, since the 2 is the denominator of x, why don't we multiply each side by 2? Multiply each side by 2. That means we are multiplying the numerator. Okay, multiply the numerator by 2 so that we can reduce this 2. So we have only x on the left hand side and the right side is 6. This is how we solve this type of equations. So you have an x and the denominator, you have a denominator, then multiply each side by the denominator too. The first example is this. X is a product, right? Product. So we have a 3 times x. So you can remove this 3 by dividing each side, which is the numerator, right? Numerator. So you have a 3x, then 3x is equal to 3x over 1, right? 3x over 1. So actually 3 is the numerator. So in that case, we can divide each side by 3. Okay, then what if we have an equation that has a fraction? Okay, let's try this one. 3x over 2 equals 6. So actually we want to make this one as what? X equals something, right? Something. So we have to get rid of 3 and 2. So we can rewrite it as this. So 3x over 2 is equivalent to 3 over 2 times x over 1, right? X over 1. Right? So this is the product of fractions is what? Multiply the numerators over multiply the denominators. So we can write it like this. So actually So actually we can rewrite it something like this, right? So 3x over 2 is equivalent to 3 over 2 times x, right? So from here, okay, in order to make x and then get rid of 3 over 2, we can multiply the reciprocal. Look at this. 3 over 2, right? 3 over 2. So if you have same thing, if you have the denominator, the value 2 in the numerator and 3 in the denominator, then this is actually equal to what? 3 times 2 over 2 times 3. So you can cancel out the same factors from numerator and the denominator. So it becomes 1 over 1, so which is 1, right? So we can multiply each side by the reciprocal of 3 over 2. Okay, 3 over 2. So that is 2 over 3. Multiply each side by the reciprocal 2 over 3. So we can cancel out 2, 2, 3, 3. So x is equal to, and then this is equal to 6 over 1. So you can reduce 6 and 3, right? 6 and 3, so this will become 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let me reduce this. So you can reduce this 2, reduce 3, and then reduce this one. So 6 becomes 2. So the answer will be 2 times 2 is 4. So in this case, what we did is we multiplied, right? Multiply each side by the reciprocal of 3 over 2, which is 2 over 3, right? So there are 3 types of equations in this case. One is x is multiplied by a number. X is multiplied by a number, then divide. This is a product, then divide each side by the same number. And x is divided by something, then what? Divide it by something, then multiply. Okay, multiply each side by the denominator. And if x is if you have a product with a fraction, right? Fraction times x, right? Fraction times a variable, then multiply each side by what? The reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal of 3 over 2, which is 2 over 3. Okay, there are 3 types, but actually, this is really important. This is the important part, because actually we are multiplying no matter what. There are 3 types of equations here. Actually, we are applying this one, multiplying with the reciprocal. We can multiply each side of the equation by the reciprocal, because what is in this case, let's look at this. Okay, 3x, let me write it. Okay, 3x plus 12. Let me write it again here. 3x plus 12. 3x is equal to 12. So what is the reciprocal of 3? What is the reciprocal of 3? Isn't it 1/3? Right, 1/3. So you can multiply each side by 1/3 and 1/3. So this is equal to, okay, this 3 is in the numerator, so you can cross it out. So x equals over 1, so you can cross it out. 4, so x equals 4. Right? How about the second equation? X over 2 equals 3. X over 2 equals 3. Then this one is equal to, it's the same as 1 over 2 times x equals 3, right? So what is the reciprocal of 2? That is 2, right? 2 over 1. 2 over 1. So multiply 2 over 1 each side. Then you can cancel out 2. So x is equal to 6. So we get the same answer, right? So if x is multiplied by a number, whether it is just a number or a fraction, just multiply each side by the reciprocal of the number. Okay, now let's try this equation. Okay, the right hand side has a variable c, so this is negative 3c over 5. Then we can rewrite the equation as this. Negative, okay, 3 over 5. We can write 3 over 5 first and then multiply by c, right? Multiply by c. So actually this is c over 1, right? We can separate it like this because this is a product. 3c is a product. 3c is a product in the numerator, so we can write it like this. So if we write it again, then it looks like this. Negative 3 over 5 times c, right? C. So the original equation can be rewritten as 6 equals negative 3 over 5, which is a fraction, times c. So this is a product. So what is the reciprocal of negative 3 over 5? Isn't it negative 5 over 3, right? Negative 5 over 3. So we can rewrite it. So let me rewrite the equation. So this is equal to 6 equals negative 3 over 5 times c. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply. Okay, multiply the reciprocal of negative 3 over 5, which is negative 5 over 3. And the negative sign stays same. What we do is just switch the numerator to the denominator. So we got to multiply the left hand side as well. So negative 5 over 3, right? Okay, then we can simplify each side. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Equals. Okay, now negative becomes positive. 5 cancel out. Also 3 cancel out. We have c. So finally, c is equal to negative 10. So you can interchange the sides. So c is equal to negative 10. This is how we got the solution. Okay, so here, this is negative 5 over 3 times 6, and negative 5 over 3 times negative 3 over 5. C, right? So you can reduce this one. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then multiply 5 and 2 is 10, so negative 10. And this one cancel out, and negative becomes positive. Okay, now let's solve this equation. Okay, now the left hand side is y plus something. So this is a plus, addition, right? Addition. So in order to remove this 2 over 3, we will add minus. In this case, subtract 2 over 3 from each side. Because this is plus, right? Plus. If this is plus, then we do minus. So what we can do is we subtract, minus each side, what? 2/3. The same number, 2/3. Make sense? So we can subtract the same number from each side. We do subtraction because this is an addition. Y plus is an addition. So we do subtraction. If unlike the previous examples, the previous example is a product, multiplication, right? 3c, 3 times c, this is a multiplication. And also 3, this is 3 times x, right? 3 times x, multiplication. 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is a division. It's not an addition or subtraction. So since this is an addition, we do subtraction. Okay. So the left hand side is just y, because this numbers is same. You are subtracting the same number, so that is actually y plus 0, which is y. Okay, then right hand side is the LCD is 12. So you can write it 4 as 12. So 4 times 3 is 12. So 3 times 3 is 9. Can you see it? So I want to make 4 by multiplying 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. So you also multiply the numerator by 3. How about here? Now 3 times 4 is 12. So multiply 2 by 4, which is 8. So minus, this will be 8 over 12. So y is equal to 9 minus 8 over 12. So y equals 1 over 12. So the solution is 1 over 12. Alright, so fraction is same, solving an equation that contains fraction, like an addition or subtraction. Then we do the same thing. If this is an addition, then we do subtraction. If this is minus, then we do what? Addition. If this is a product, y times something, then what do? Multiply reciprocal. Multiply the reciprocal. Okay, let's try this example. Okay, 1/3 of all the sugar produced by a company is brown sugar. And if 250,000 pounds of brown sugar were produced, then how many pounds of the sugar were produced? Okay, this means, let's say, we want to find out number of pounds of all the sugars. This one. So let's say we don't know what this one is. Let's say this is X. So 1/3 of all of the sugar. So 1/3 of all of the sugar, this guy is equal to, right? Is equal to the brown sugar. And the brown sugar is given. This is the brown sugar. Okay, so we can write it something like this. 1/3 of all the sugar means multiply. 1/3 of all the sugars. All the sugar is what? This is X, right? This is X. So 1/3 of sugar X means multiply. So this is equal to brown sugar. What is the, how many pounds? That is 250,000 pounds of brown sugar. So we just set up an equation. So we can now solve this equation for X. X is the pounds for all the sugar, all of the sugar. So all of the sugar. So we can, how should we solve this one? Okay, so this is 1/3 times. So 1/3 times. So we can multiply the reciprocal of 1/3. What is the reciprocal of 1/3? That is 3, right? 3 over 1. 3 over 1, which is 3. So multiply each side by 3 over 1, which is 3. So instead of using 3 over 1, it is better to use 3. Isn't it? Isn't it better to write 3 instead of 3 over 1? Still same thing, but still same. So you can cancel out this 3. So we have X. Then multiply 250,000 by 3. So that will be 750,000. So X is the total pounds of the sugar, all the sugar. So it will be 750,000 pounds of sugar were produced. All right, that's it for this section.